Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Action Jackson, and in today's video, man, I'm going to be doing my mock draft 1.1, in which I drafted three players. I did a three-round mock, and this also, I added film as well. So I stayed up late. I mainly watched film on these guys, and because I'm really rooted in this year when it comes to draft. I've been watching players regardless, but now since I have actual film to actually watch on these players, I've been doing a lot of own studying on my own. I'm out here. I'm taking notes on Matthew Golden, if you guys can tell. Maxwell Harrison, I got notes on those guys. Those are my sneak peeks. Dylan Sampson, this is part of, I drafted all three of those players in my mock draft, and I have film on all three. So I would greatly appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man. So again, hopping straight into it, I'm very excited. I'm going to be showing this piece of work. That's why I haven't posted in the past 6 days. I've also been caught up in schoolwork. I've been very busy with school. I've been, taking exams. I still have a lot more. I still have one more exam I got to do. I got a project I have to turn in. So that's why I've been slack on the uploads this week. But now, now I'm here. But now we're going to be showing film pretty soon. But as you guys already know, I went on ESPN. Analytics is the 2025 NFL Draft Simulator, and the reason why I went on this simulator, as opposed to what I've been doing, the Pro Football Network one, it's just for me, the Pro Football Network, that's still a really good site to go on. But the reason why I don't like that is just for the simple fact that it's very unrealistic. There's too many times in which they have Devin Neal ranked as like the 200th, player in the draft, or they have him rated super low. I see him, Almirian Hampton, get drafted in the second round. Like, I see him get to Dallas. I see him get drafted in the third round. There was a draft where I had Tedero McMillan and Ashton Genty both available to me at 12, and it's very likely in which we don't see either of those players. But that's why I went a different route. As you guys know, first round pick, I selected Matthew Golden. Right here, I'm going to talk about what I like about the draft simulator real quick, and then I'm going to move on as to why I think the Dallas Cowboys will want to draft a Matthew Golden. But right there, underneath Matthew Golden's name, it does says chance available at pick. The left side, you guys already know what the greater than, less than signs are. If it's going to left, it means greater than. That means it's 95% likely, almost a guarantee that he will be available to us at pick 12, and then a chance that he's available at the next pick is less than 5%. So he probably will be later drafted, and people think he might go later. But for me, that's why I really like it, because it tells us, hey, realistically, are you going to get that player? Will he be there available at 1 year pick? That's what I like about it. It gives you analytics, breaks down the reasons why. That's why I really liked going to this site, because I actually had to think when I was drafting these players. It's still not hard because I've been watching all of these players. I've been listening to these players. Everything about these players have been super in tune. So since I've been keeping up and everything like that in terms of my draft work, I'm just flying through these mock drafts like it's nothing at this point. I put in all the work for when April 24th comes, and we're just kicking our feet up, and we're just going to have a really, really, really fun draft. And I got upgraded tech as well. So when the draft does come, I have, stuff ready for that, where my live stream will look similar to this, but on my computer. So again, we drafted Matthew Golden. Why do I feel like the Dallas Cowboys will draft Matthew Golden? Is because Matthew Golden will not be a redundancy in this draft class. Not in the draft class, I'm sorry, but in this wide receiver position. We have a bunch of bigger physical wide receivers like Jonathan Mingo. You can consider Jalen Tolbert as a bigger X guy. You got Jalen Brooks, outside guy as well. I think what the Dallas Cowboys have been missing is that they're missing a really technician that can run a 4.4. For me, when I was watching film on him versus Arizona State and Georgia in the SEC championship game, is that I saw a 4.4 athlete, in my opinion. He ran that ridiculous 4.29, 4.28 at the 40-yard dash in the combine. But I do feel that with his physical attributes, his leadership, The way in which he can route run, he has a great, awesome body control. I'm going to show that in the film as well. He's a clutch player, and that is something that we need in this room. We need somebody that when the play breaks down, we have somebody that we can go to on third and longs, third and mediums, fourth and it feels like forever. We need a guy like Matthew Golden in this building, just for the simple fact that he can run routes. And another thing, he is going to run routes at 100% whether he's getting the ball or not. That is something that I saw a lot on tape when I was watching this Georgia film and the Arizona State film and the Ohio State film. I see that every single time he's running the ball 100, he's always coming out of his brakes like he's getting the ball. He gets up on the opposing DB really well. He gets up on them really well, and it's going to be tough for these cornerbacks to react to him. He's going to be a great route runner. I talked about that a million times. He's a move around guy. This is somebody that you can move around the formation. He can play the slot. He can play the outside. He can play the X. You can move around. Him and CD can move around all day and night, and it will be amazing. So he has great body control. He's a willing run blocker. I saw that in the second quarter, 2nd and 5 with 14 minutes and 36 seconds left on the play clock. They ran a screen or a running back pitch play to his side, and he had a really great blocking on there, as you guys can tell, because I am having just cut up film of him, as I am speaking right now. And, ways in which he's showing he has great route running as well was another example. It was 1st and 10 with 10 minutes left. 10 minutes 27 seconds left in the third quarter. He ran a great corner route against man coverage. He had great separation, and then he had another play about 3.5 minutes after that. Again, on another 1st and 10, 6 minutes and 52 seconds left in the third quarter. This is a route running specialist, and you look at his stats, and from what he had at Houston, he had 38 catches, 584 yards. He had 7 touchdowns in a freshman season. His sophomore season, he got the same amount of receptions, 38. He caught 404. My bad. He caught 38 passes, 404 yards, caught 6 touchdowns. Then his junior year, when he popped off with Texas, he had 58 catches, so 20 more passes were thrown his way, and he had 987 yards, and he had 9 touchdowns. This is a person that's going to get you again. Last year, think about it. Our leading touchdown player on our offense was Jalen Tolbert with 7. He had that already in his freshman year at Houston. And now I know what the knock is going to be against him. He doesn't have a lot of production. I don't believe you're going to have a lot of great production when you look at the quarterback play in which they had at the Houston Cougars in college. I don't think you're going to get that production. When I was watching this film, seriously, now again, when you're watching the film, again, Vach he paints a really great picture in your head. I watch a lot of Texas Longhorns football in the past 3 or 4 years. I'm not a huge fan. I just respect the way in which their program has been built and things of that nature. But bro, Quinn Ewers is cool, but he's gonna get drafted in day 3. He's gonna be a round 5, round 6 quarterback. Just the throws that he just makes are ridiculous. Not in a good way. Like, that's why I have him as a 5th round graded player. Like, the way in which he throws the ball is just disgusting to me. There was a play, when I talk about awesome body control, clutch player, great route running, the prime example that I highlighted on my notes was 3rd and 13, 8 minutes and 34 seconds left versus Georgia in the first quarter. They motioned him out to the wide side of the field, and then he ran a wheel route. He was wide open. Quinn Ewers threw a lollipop in the air. Thankfully, Malachi Starks wasn't paying attention. He couldn't play the ball in the air. He missed out on it. Matthew Golden plucked it out of the air and stumbled, gathering his foot, and then Malachi Starks was able to catch up and get him, and then Bam gets tackled. That's a particular play that hey, if you were that wide open, Dak Prescott's going to put it on you, and you gone, baby. You're going to score. You know what I mean? Like, any real NFL quarterback, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, wherever Matthew Golden gets selected, the Raiders, like, if you have a real NFL quarterback that can get you the ball right there, it is a wrap. He scores. That's a touchdown. But the way Quinn Ewers threw that pass was utterly ridiculous to me from what I was watching on film. I really like what Matthew Golden can can do. I think he comes in for any organization. I'm not talking about just for the Dallas Cowboys. When I talk draft, I mean for all 31 other teams. I'm not talking about just for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Matthew Golden will be great for all the reasons that I just said prior in the video. I think he'll be a really great pro. I think he'll be ready. The route running, the body control, the great leader. He catches every single pass thrown to him. There are guys in the league that if you don't throw them a good ball, they're saying F it. They're not going to catch it. They'll get crocodile arms, T-Rex arms. They're not even going to extend for it. Matthew Golden's going to extend for those passes. He's never going to make your quarterback look bad. He's going to try his damnedest to make sure he can make every single play in the book. This is a guy that loves football, and I need football players on my football team. Now, again, if Tedero McMillan is there, I'm taking Tedero McMillan over Matthew Golden because Tedero McMillan, to me, is the highest. He's, for me, wide receiver 1. And, again, that'll be another great Robin to CeeDee Lamb's Batman. Again, Matthew Golden can be a Robin to the Batman. He would love to be in Dallas. Again, just in our backyard playing for Longhorns. The Dallas Cowboys will love Matthew Golden. His production speaks for itself when you're talking about you having at least 7 touchdowns, 6.5 touchdowns a year just receiving. I think he'll be a really great wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys need to draft him. If Tedero McMillan, Genty is gone, Will Johnson is gone, and you're thinking about taking a wide receiver, another reason why I want to take wide receiver is for the simple fact that once you get to the second round worth of wide receivers, I'm looking at Vach's board. Shout out to Vach Lombardi. I'm going to post his board in my description box as well. Once you get to the second round, you got Jack Besh out of TCU. You got Alec Amior from Stanford. You got Jalen Warriors. I'm sorry. Savon Williams. You got Jalen Noel. That's in the third. Trey Harris in the third. Kobe Hudson in the fourth. Pat Bryant out of Illinois in the fourth. Nick Nash in the fourth. I really liked him a lot. Higgins from Iowa State. You got Kyle Williams from Washington State. Let's see who else. You got Wells. You got Felton from Maryland. You got Isaiah Bond. So, I mean, once you get to dates, basically your later round receivers will not be as great as you have in your first round wide receivers, whether it's Tedero McMillan, Matthew Golden, Emeka Egbuka, and Luther Burden. If you take any of those 4 guys in the first round, you will sleep as sound as a baby. Majority of the Cowboy fans, if you don't like it April 24th, you're going to like it September 24th when we play in football and either Matthew Golden, Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden, or Tedero McMillan is tearing up the team's second best corner and we're scoring touchdowns and we're lighting it up because we're actually able to have a real passing attack because we have other wide receivers other than CeeDee Lamb. But Matthew Golden for me will be a day 1 starter for you. Which we're going to be talking about is Maxwell Harrison. Maxwell Harrison is a 6-foot corner. What that site called? The Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl had his measurements as 5'11". When I watched him play, when I was watching film on him, that's not a 5'11 type of guy. That's a 6-foot corner to me. He's not skinny at all. I mean, he is skinny, yes, but he's not smaller in stature. This is a really physical player. I really love the way in which he plays football with the intensity that he brings and tenacity that he brings to the defensive side of the football. We need this type of player on our team. I do. This is another guy that is a 4'2" athlete. I understand. But when you guys are watching the highlights, not watching the highlights, but watching the film that I have provided right here, showing the clips of, you see that he's moving all around the formation. He has great ball skills. The first clip I showed you guys, he played 2 routes, one on Theo Wise Jr. and another one on Luther Burden. And he played in that deep cover 3, cover 1 match, whatever they were playing, where he was on he was on the boundary. He was creeping in like he was going to pick off the seam. Then he went back out and he picked the ball off. Like, that's great ball skills. You can't teach that. That is teach tape. I know what I just said, It is teach tape. If you have a corner that can do this in the league, in college, in high school, this is a damn good corner, man. This is a really good corner. I like the intensity that he brings to a team. He's a great tackler. He's a great ball hawk, but it can also cost him at times. So I will be a little bit harsh on these players as well when I'm when I'm picking them apart. I'm watching the film and I'm just saying what will teams look at when you're trying to break down these players. But if he's available to you in the second round, bro, the Dallas Cowboys need to take him. And if we're just talking about ball skills, and not only ball skills, but when we're talking about ball production, dude, like his second year in college football, he had 5 interceptions. You add another playmaker, dynamic playmaker that can take the ball away in Matt Eberflus's system, we are going to love our secondary if we're ever healthy with Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs. You get those two healthy, plus adding on Maxwell Harrison. I think Maxwell can play on the opposite end of Trayvon Diggs. I think you can put Deron Bland back in the slot, move him back to the slot, have Maxwell outside, Trayvon Diggs on the other outside, and I think you can lock things down, and I think you're going to have a really good trio of corners for the foreseeable future. And this is also another player in which you can send him on blitzes. This would be a perfect Kansas City Chief signing or draftee if the Chiefs want to pick him up at 31. If they don't really love an offensive lineman at that point, if they take Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, that would be amazing for them if he can be the starting left tackle day one. But if they want Maxwell Harrison to pair up with Trent McDuffie, this would be a great pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. Or if the Raiders want to pick him up day two, because the Raiders, they did let go of Jack Jones, and if they feel that Maxwell Harrison can get to them in the second round, and then they also, and I know they're picking 6 overall, but if they think they can get Savon Revell out of ECU, East Carolina, or a really good corner in the second round, and they go get best player available, whether that's Graham, whether that's Genty, whether that's Tedero McMillan or Matthew Golden, who knows? They can get any. They're picking at 6, so they can go wherever they really want to for the Raiders. So there's a lot of great teams that would love to have a Maxwell Harrison. You put together, he did great in the Senior Bowl. He has really great film. Again, in his senior year, he only had 1 interception. That's because teams weren't testing him anymore. But he had a sack. He had 2 forced fumbles. He had 2 pick sixes in 2023. He had 1 pick six in 2024. We're still talking about Maxwell Harrison. I love the film and I love the tape that I did provide for a guy like Maxwell Harrison. Now, third round, I did select Dylan Sampson. Now, a guy that had led the SEC in rushing, and we're not giving him his praise is kind of ridiculous to me, man. The film that I will be showing you was against Alabama in 2024. He is a 4.46 athlete, and you do see his really great speed when I am providing the tape right here. For me, he's a very physical runner. ESPN has him listed at 5'11", but I think measurables came out, he's like 5'10", 5'8". Again, he's not itty bitty. He looks like it on film compared to that 6'5" quarterback that's in a lot of controversy because he wants to get out of Tennessee because they're not giving him the NIL deal. But this is really great hype for a running back. One thing I really appreciate, and that's what we loved about Ezekiel Elliott when he was in his prime, or when he was providing you production, was that he had a nose for the end zone. And that's what Dylan Sampson has. Dylan Sampson, in his last year at Tennessee, had 11 straight games, bro. 11 straight games of at least 1 rushing touchdown. I put in parentheses, has a nose for the end zone. This is somebody in which we need a breakaway type of runner. We need a person that can add an element to you in the passing and also the receiving game. I really love what you can get out of a guy like Dylan Sampson. I think this is somebody that you should draft in the third round. I have him as a third round back. If you're able to get him, if you have to draft him around earlier in the second round, do it, because there's so many great running backs. I really, really, really like Dylan Sampson. He's a willing pass blocker. He's really solid at doing that. When he sees a crease, he will take advantage of it and utilize his speed. There was an example of him carrying defenders on his body. Again, we're talking about a smaller stature player. He's a very, very well-built athlete. I really like the way he does it. But he carried Jahad Campbell, in which in some people is going to be their linebacker 1 in this draft class alone, whereas number 11 for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He carried him on a second down and 2 yards to go with 7 minutes and 49 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. And on an inside zone play, he carried Jahad Campbell on his back for an additional 5 yards, bro. I really like Dylan Sampson. He had 22 touchdowns total. In his senior, in his last year at Tennessee. I mean, dang, you just think about it. He had 22, man, having 22 overall touchdowns, and mainly most of them were all rushing. You know, he had three against Chattanooga, two against NC State, four against Kent State. He had one against OU, two against Arkansas in the loss. He had three against Florida in the overtime game. He had two against Bama, one in the red zone. I do remember that. Two against Kentucky, one against Mississippi State, one against Georgia in a loss in which he had 19 carries for 101 yards. UTEP, he had 11 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown. His touchdown streak ended against Vanderbilt, in which they beat him by 13 points, but he had 25 carries, 178 yards. They gave him the ball a lot at Tennessee. He gave him 258 carries. That's something we have to think about. That's why I still want to double down at the running back position, because if you can draft him and draft Scatterbo, if you draft Scatterbo and if you draft Dylan Sampson in the third and you get Scatterbo in the fifth, that's a great running back tandem. You got your running back room is a lot better than what it was last year. You pair that with Clayton Adams in this young developing offensive line, I think you will be fine. I really like Matthew Golden. I think he's going to start from you opposite of CeeDee Lamb. You get Maxwell Harrison. I think he can be your starting day one corner, and you won't have to really worry about Kalen Carson playing for you week one in 2025. But instead, you will have Maxwell Harrison if you do bring him in. I talked about all of their traits in the film breakdown and everything of that nature, man. For the video. Hopefully, you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed, and comment. Did you like the film or not? Bye.